This is our Wednesday night channeling class number 178. If any of you got the tape last week, I made a mistake. Last week's was 177, but we called it number 178, but I corrected it on my tape, so you can correct it on yours, Annabelle, anybody else. Our title tonight is called Inner Guidance. To reach the higher, you turn loose of the lower. As you reach within, you give less attention to the outer. All desire the guidance that comes from within, whether they know it or not. Even the gambler calls on inner guidance. They may call it luck or some other name, but it is the same. Gambling with your way, with the way your life goes, is unnecessary when you learn that you have all the answers within. You may not think that inner guidance is rated among the highest talents of life. You have been taught that love divine is the goal for all to attain. Think how easier it would be to remember how to love unconditionally with inner guidance. When you are learning to hear the inner guidance, it does not shout at you. It is a still small voice that may not be a voice as you are now hearing, but a very subtle knowing and understanding. As you practice listening to and giving credit to the inner guidance, it becomes easier to discern. It becomes easier to discern that knowing within and put it into practice in your outer world. Learning to love unconditionally or love divine is the highest goal. Learning to hear and heed your inner guidance that is always there is of great value to your soul's growth and to your freedom from these lower realms of illusion. Good evening, my dear ones. This is Don coming to you from these realms of divine love and light. It is my privilege to bring you the message tonight. As your doorkeeper, it is always my privilege to be with you on these nights that we come together. In true reality, we are always together because we cannot be separated. It is indeed very important to understand this and to realize that it fits in with tonight's title of your class, Inner Guidance. In true reality, there is no inner or outer, but in your understanding of your language and of time and space and duality, we have to use these words to communicate with you. So we will go ahead and continue to call it inner guidance. It does come from within and not the outer. But because all life is one, there is no duality. And as you learn to listen to that still small voice within you, as the writing said, it may not be a voice as you hear now, but a subtle knowing and understanding. You will be able to develop this if you practice listening. But when you listen, my dear ones, you must learn to tune out the outer physical world. When most try to make the contact with the inner dimensions, they choose a time of stillness and aloneness to sit and practice. But as you become more efficient at this, you can hear this inner guidance as you go through your day, as you do whatever you do in this world of illusion. It becomes a thing that becomes a part of you as you practice with it. It becomes as much a part of you as your hands and your feet and your head and your voice, because it is an inner voice, an inner knowing, an inner understanding. On these dimensions, of course, we do not use language as you do, and do not speak with the voice box as you do. We use thought transference, as you would call it. And it is much easier to communicate with each other on these higher realms in this way. As you learn to discern the inner guidance that you always have, that is always there speaking to you, you will make your life so much easier. It is much easier when you know the truth, with a capital T, as Donald would say, the divine truth, the eternal truth. When you understand that the laws of life above and beyond the physical is the true reality of being. These laws are very few, and they will all boil down to the one law of love. All can be brought down to learning how to love unconditionally as God loves. As you learn these different laws, because you are used to splitting the things up and dividing them, it may be necessary for you on these rounds to do this for a while. As you learn to realize the reality of your being, the divinity of your being, the eternality of your being, you will begin to understand that all is one and one is all. You will begin to understand that there is no division in any way, in anything, in any individuals. We are all one with all of life in the whole of creation. This is something that you have been told many times, and when you learn to listen to that inner guidance, it will be much easier for you to practice this oneness, much easier for you to remember who you are, because you will be hearing this inner understanding, this inner knowing. It will be with the inner ear and not the outer dual ears. The inner guidance can help you in making decisions. It can help you into remembering to love instead of being angry. It can help you to understand and know the truth, that everyone is doing the best that they can at the moment with their past conditioning, and to eliminate confusion and anger and all the other destructive emotions that are truly unnecessary when you understand. True understanding comes when you build your foundation. This is the ingredients of your foundation. Keep remembering this. Understanding and remembering who you truly are, remembering that you are just playing a role on this physical plane. But as you play this role, do it with love, unconditional love. Give those who are around you the freedom to be whatever they want to be, to learn to love them regardless of what they are doing or not doing. When you can remember to do this, then you are free from your negative thoughts about other things and other individuals. You are free to love, and this gives you the advantage of raising your consciousness to a higher level through this knowing and understanding. It is not prudent for us to tap you on the shoulder whenever you're going against the grain of life, because God has given you free will, and He wishes you to have this free will. His desire is that you learn through making mistakes and growing through these so-called mistakes. For in His understanding and in the true reality of understanding, there are no mistakes. They are just experiences, and they are the real reason that we have come to these lower dimensions, is to have these experiences and to learn and to grow through them. As you learn to understand this inner guidance and how it works, how it is accomplished for you to hear, to know, and to follow, to heed the guidance that feels good to you. There is a rule that one of your teachers has given. If it's good, it's of God. If it's not, it's not. And this is how you follow this inner guidance. You learn to discern that which is loving, that which is true to the laws of life. You learn to immediately know whether it is your thoughts or some negative thoughts that have come from the dark cloud of thoughts that surrounds this planet, or to realize that it is the guidance, the inner guidance of your higher self that has contact with all knowing, all ability, and all wisdom through having contact with the Creator of all that is. Love is a key to all things, my dear ones, and learning to love is the goal that you have set yourself for when you came to these lower dimensions and had the many things to push against, the things that are happening around you, the wars, the anger of others, the anger within yourself, the battle that goes on within you. These are opportunities, my dear ones. And when you can look at them as opportunities, when you can know that they are just a part of learning the things that you came to learn in the schoolroom called the play on this planet Earth. It is indeed just a play on a stage, and you are the actors and actresses. You have played many roles before, and you may play many other roles in the future. But know this, my dear ones, when you truly learn to love unconditionally, truly learn to do this, then you will be free from these lower dimensions of illusion. Your freedom from these lower dimensions is what you are working towards, because when you have this freedom, you will have the understanding of life so much more than when you entered these lower dimensions. You will have it to a greater extent. It is very similar to going to school and learning to read and to write and to add and subtract and so forth. You start by not knowing and by practicing. And as you practice, you learn. Some of you have come to learn patience, and this is one of the largest things that is prevalent on your planet, is patience. And everyone, or most everyone, I should say, wants the instant ability to everything. And they want to have the understanding of the inner guidance and the ability to have this inner guidance without the practice. It does not come this way unless you are born with it, unless you have learned it in other lifetimes and have brought it with you. Some have. A few, I should say, have. Most have to learn to develop it, to practice and to listen. And you have to be consistent with this practice, or you do not learn how to discern the difference between the true inner guidance and maybe your own thoughts or your desires or something else. This inner guidance was called in your book, the Bible, the oracles. And there have been those who have had talents of the oracles in the past. And there are those who have these talents now. But all should learn it for themselves instead of depending on something outside yourself. If you continue to depend on someone else to tell you what to do, how are you going to learn how to do it? So it is prevalent. It is, should I say, wiser for you to learn through your own inner guidance what is for you to know. At your stage in growth, it may be a completely different place than someone else's stage in growth, and what appears to be right for them may not be the correct thing for you at that moment in your place of growth. So as you go into this understanding of listening to the inner guidance, it is your practice of learning to discern and not trying to do it in the way that someone else does it, because it may not be the way for you. Let us stop for a few seconds and be still within the inner being of ourselves. And while there are many from this side of the realm of your realm, let us listen and be still so that we can practice listening for the inner guidance. As you go within, let your body be relaxed. Close your eyes to the outer world and close your thoughts to the outer world, and allow yourself to listen. If your thoughts run away to something else, bring them back to the inner you. If you need something to concentrate on, you can concentrate on your breathing, but only that. Or you can concentrate on the light at the center of your being, but only that. And listen with the inner ear. It is different than listening with the outer ear. Thank you, Father. For those who practice meditation, they practice daily and consistently, and it is through this tool sometimes that they learn to hear the inner guidance. And it may be that the guidance does not come at the time that they practice the meditation, but those who are helping you from the other dimensions or your higher self may place thoughts in your aura, in the life force that emanates around you, and these thoughts will come to you through the day or even the next day. There are many ways of hearing the inner guidance. There are many ways of understanding the truth. You cannot learn the truth when you listen to the illusions of the world and believe in fear. Fear is the disruptor of learning to contact the inner dimensions and have that inner guidance. It is unnecessary to fear anything, for fear is an illusion. It is the largest of all illusions and the basis of all illusions. Love is the answer, my dear ones. Love is a key to all things, divine love. When you learn to love unconditionally, and this is one of the best ways to say it in your language, love unconditionally means to not put any conditions on the love that you project. If you're sending God's love, it is much better to send it unlabeled. If you are accepting others as they are and loving the divinity within them, accept them as they are. This is not putting any conditions. When you love someone else because maybe they will love you back, that is putting conditions. When you love someone or are friends with them so that maybe they will fulfill you in some way, this is putting conditions, and this is not of the highest order. This is of the realms, the lower realms of illusion, and thinking that you can be fulfilled from things outside yourself. My dear ones, remember that everything comes from within out. Everything is of the inner. The outer is in a state of decay at all times. It is continually decaying and going back to the source. The inner is stable. The inner realms of love and light do not change. The divine laws of life never change. They always have been, they are now, and they always will be. And you can depend on these laws of life when you understand them, whether it is learning to grow in a spiritual way or whether it is learning how to make money. They are still the laws of life. And you may think of this as confused because making money is of the physical, but you can multiply your supply by learning the laws of life, the divine laws of life, because life is abundant everywhere present. When you do this with greed, then it can turn back on you. But when you do it in a loving way, knowing that everything is yours at this moment, the whole kingdom of God is being held out to you at all times. And all you need do, my dear ones, is reach out and take it. But most on your realm have many blocks, many hang-ups that keep them in fear and keep them from attaining the abundance that life has to offer for them, whether it is in money, whether it is love, whether anything else that you desire. Life is abundant, and it is yours. It has always been yours, and always shall be yours. But when you shut off the life forces through this thing called fear that wears many faces, anger, jealousy, hatred, denial, rejection, rebellion, these are all different names for fear, and there are many, many others. And you shut off the law of abundance. You shut off the laws of life, and life force does not flow through you in as great a quantity and quality as it could if you would turn loose of this misunderstanding of the laws of life. So it is indeed wise to learn the laws of life, and one of the easiest ways to do this is to learn to hear the inner guidance within you, that inner guidance that comes from the source, the divine eternal source of all that is, that guidance that is always true. As you learn to do this and to listen to this instead of the outer world guidance, you will be true to yourself and to the divinity within you. You will learn to know what you should do at all times, in all situations. You will learn to know when to speak and when to be silent. You will learn to know that everyone on any dimension is doing the best that they can at the moment with their past conditioning, and to accept them as they are and love the divinity within them. You need not agree with the outer persona and what is going on in their outer life, but you understand that they are doing the best they can. And so you look beyond this and look to the inner God that is within them, because it is always there. No matter what they are demonstrating or manifesting in the outer physical plane of illusion, the inner part of them is divine. And that is what you concentrate on, my dear ones, when you think of them. And thought's life force follows thought. And it is possible that if they are a little bit open, that you're concentrating on the divinity within them, it could multiply and spread out to the outer part of them. It is not your doing that is doing this. It is they who have accepted this life force that you are giving with divine love that is bringing about the changes. And it is possible. But when you argue with someone, when you dispute what they are doing, it is truly none of your business, unless it is your child that you are setting a pattern for. It is your business to love all unconditionally. Let us stop at this time and give you a chance to ask questions, if you will.
I have a question.
Yes.
You just made a statement about meddling in other people's business.
Yes.
Is there ever a time that you could genuinely want to help somebody, or is that always just your subconscious tricking you into thinking that you want to help somebody to either not face up to your own problems or for whatever the reason is, or is there genuinely times when you can go out and help somebody out?
And it depends on your motives and why you want to help them. If it is to help them to suit your needs or to make your life more comfortable, then your motives are not correct. If your motives are pure and loving, then it is best almost always to keep silent unless that inner guidance that you have developed speaks through you. And when that happens, it is not the persona, the outer you, that is doing it. It is the inner you that is doing it. Do you understand?
Yeah. I just noticed that so many of the things that I was working on, I noticed in other people so quickly. And some of the people that are close to me are growing along with me, and it seems like I'm in that position where I can help them by pointing those things out. And a lot of times it's for my own benefit because I can see it more clearly. But I'm wondering if that would, sometimes that hedges over the board of meddling.
It is a fine line, as Alva has said. There are many fine lines, and it is through learning to discern these fine lines and learning to listen to that inner guidance and heed the inner guidance instead of the outer persona. This is sometimes difficult to discern, but that is what you are here for, is to practice and to learn to be silent when you should, and to, when you speak from the inner self, the higher self. Is this understandable?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes. Are there other questions this evening?
Yes. You said something earlier about concentrating on the divinity of another individual. Wouldn't that come under the heading of, I don't know, if it's kind of trying to control them and make them fit your idea of...
No, this is not what I intended, and I'm grateful that you have brought this out. what I intended to explain to you, instead of concentrating on what you think they're doing incorrectly, then just concentrate on the God within them and release it to the God within them and to God. Do not outline what they should do or not do. That comes under the heading of your motives. If you outline, it may be something that the outer self thinks should be, when it may be a lesson for the other individual to bump their head up against the brick wall many times before they decide it hurts and I think I'll stop doing this. Everyone has to learn their lessons from within. They learn through the outer experiences, but it is the inner guidance that eventually they hear that they stop being destructive and start being loving and constructive. Does this explain your question?
I think so. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you do it unconditionally, see, without conditions, when you concentrate on the God within them. This gives you something to concentrate on. This is what I meant to explain, instead of what they may be doing incorrectly. If you have learned to know the truth, you become very powerful, power-filled, depending on your ability to know the truth and the consistency of your knowing the truth and being loving. And through this power, you can project it to the whole world and to the whole universe. You can project God's love. And just by being in someone else's aura, the love that emanates from you can be an influence, a constructive influence for them, and vice versa. For those who are destructive, they can be influenced, if they are of a weaker nature, by someone else who is destructive. This is going far afield from your question, but it is something to understand and to realize that as you grow in consciousness, as you move higher in your understanding, as you learn to love unconditionally, then the vibrations that emanate from you are much more powerful than they have been in the past. And you do influence those around you through the vibrations that emanate from you. Are there other questions this evening?
I have a question.
Yes.
In regard to trying to get more control, or shall I say, learning to work with your subconscious, to work with you in your spiritual growth, I guess what I want to understand in trying to do that is the subtleness of the way the subconscious works. For example, let me use a situation. I'll just use mine today. I debated whether to come to the channeling tonight, just because of being a little overtired from too much physical exertion the last week or so. And was brought to my attention that maybe that's the more opportune time to pay attention to your spiritual growth, because it would be so easy to get involved in the illusion of thinking you have to work and this type of thing. I took a good nap this afternoon to try and compensate for that, and here I still see myself, or find myself, getting tired and almost falling asleep while listening to the channeling. I know part of it is to, some of the resistance of debating whether to come in the first place, but I decided it was best to come anyhow, because I really do believe that my spiritual growth is more important. Could you shed some light on that in reference to how the subconscious, and how do you get a handle on the subconscious in regard to, allowing it to still, become tired after all that rest and that type of thing?
It is also the conscious mind within you, my dear one, and you must realize that you cannot always blame the subconscious, because balance is a very important thing in your life. And understanding you as I do, and seeing you as I do, and many others, and Donald himself, you tend to overdo. You tend to stretch yourself too far in doing physical things. And when you stop to think about it, what will this amount to? How will this count when you reach this side of the veil, when you've gone through the experience you call death and graduated to these dimensions? How much will all of these physical things that you have done, how much will they count? You see, keeping your balance is very important. And you start with order and harmony and rhythm, and balance comes about through these things. When you make your plan to have a balance and have a time for your quiet times, have a time for your spiritual work. When you do this and allow yourself the balance, then it is not necessary for your body to be tired. It sometimes, and I'm not referring just to you or even to you, but it is sometimes an escape to overexert yourself, and it is an escape from looking at yourself and looking at life as it truly is, and learning the things that you have come to this realm to learn. You have heard of people who are workaholics and people who are alcoholics, and there's not that much difference. They're just using other things to escape from the plan that they made before they were born, to not follow through with the plan. And your subconscious does have an influence on this. But you also consciously choose what you do, even if it was a pattern that was placed in your subconscious. It has been done from the conscious level. And so you have taken the self-awareness class. Go back to some of those notes and to that understanding, and the tape especially, and listen to the tape about being relaxed all through the day in all kinds of situations and conditions. And as you do this and consciously take charge of your mind, your emotions, and your body, then you are in a better balance, and you are at peace in all that you do, and you can learn to be relaxed physically and mentally at peace, no matter what you're doing or where you're doing it. Does this help your understanding?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes. Are there other questions this evening?
How isn't it possible to train yourself to think before you say anything, or even before you grab on to a lasting thought? Isn't that one of the best ways to get the training?
Yes, the thought has to come first, even before you speak or act. So it all comes back to your thoughts. And some speak out before they think about what they are saying or how it might affect someone else, and especially affect themselves if it is negative, because it has to go through the individual who is speaking or acting. You see, when we train our mind, our subconscious and conscious mind to work together in harmony with each other, then you do stop and think before you do anything or before you say anything.
You get a
And-
habit of doing that.
Yes, and your measuring rod is it loving? Is it loving? Now, when you overexert yourself physically, is this being loving to your body? Is this being in balance? You see, it comes back in many ways when you say, is it loving? Balance is a part of love. The life force is made up of order, harmony, rhythm, and balance.
Discipline.
Order is another word for discipline. And as you learn to keep your life in all of this, order, harmony, and rhythm, the balance automatically comes.
And the harmony comes.
Yes, the harmony is there. And it's a beautiful harmony. And you feel good about yourself. You feel good about life. You feel good about others. When you're overtired or have overexerted, when you have pain because of some past experience, it is difficult to feel good even about yourself, let alone about others.
But there is no pain except in your concept of it, isn't that right?
That is correct. The pain is in the mind. The pain, the body and the mind are very closely related. They're intermingled. And without the thought, there could not be a physical pain.
You can change it by denying the thing.
No, by knowing the truth. When you deny something, you give it more power because you're concentrating on the problem.
You're admitting the problem.
Yes, and that's concentrating on it.
Thank you.
Yes. Are there other questions this evening? This has been a wonderful time this evening to be with you. It has been a time of learning and growing and understanding. And for us from this side of the veil, it is a time of loving. For we do love you, each and every one, no matter where you are in your growth, no matter what the outer manifestations in your life are. We love you dearly and know that you are doing the best that you can. And we look beyond the outer physical you and know the divinity that you are. God bless each and every one of you, and good evening.
Thank you.
To
But, yeah. What?
Mary, can you reach the light there? Yes, you can.
find it hard sometimes, a couple of weeks to discuss the channeling.
To discuss the channeling?
Yeah, just because of I don't know, they seem like they've been mellowed. It's more to contemplate, to just think about, what was said in my own mind, and to actually discuss it. While I would start doing it, it seemed easier. For me anyway, the last couple of weeks, it seems to be more of a inner conversation, so to speak.
Yeah.
The conversation is very real. Your inner conversation is very real. Just like if you
It's just as real as your outer, because
there's no
you're...
reason, because the thought, you have a mental telepathy right now. You pick up each other's thoughts right now.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we stand and hold hands?
Lower there's good lady. As we come together in the physical, let us think of bringing the spirit and the spiritual understanding and knowing down to this level, not just to ourselves, but everyone on this dimension, and everyone connect with this level. Let us think of God's love going around the circle and building momentum, building it higher and higher, filling this room, spreading out over the city, and covering this planet. Let us think it going out to the whole universe, and going out to all the trouble spots in the world, and to all other planets similar to ours, for going through similar experiences. Let us feel free and be a pure flame channel for God to flow through. That can time.
Sounds a quick carry.
Oh, I'm sorry, we got the fun your law. They could have these go up and over bed.
Let's tape this. We got everything on. Rob, like,
Last year.
Officially. Oh, you got it, Tevin.
I think you're on a roll.
Say that right, do that last part you said, that we all be clear, clean shell for God's love, and she went, yeah!
Turning the hand.
You let Rob Buck,
They could I know.
why, and if there was some truth in that, might have been there.
no, I didn't go there stuff.
Hi. And to be love you.
You're good.
Everything.
Pretty good. Yes. Going in for the last piece of surgery on my understand.
Girl. I don't. It's your. Oh, you don't want that. We could 5 minutes of it
That'll
out.
be the last one.
Yeah. Well, after no, you can't go away. Heard you committed.
Sorry, you.
Whatever you're...
Whatever. Rose, I had a baby.
And I ain't if I can tell you how to go on or you don't.
Carry. Baby.
I've got a song.
Let's,
Sit down. Now with a hug.
all right. All good bridges.